If I told you that just one single nut before bed could help a man over 60 regain firm, lasting erections, restore his energy, and finally sleep through the night again, would you believe me? Most men don't. Yet every day, I see patients who prove it true. This isn't a fantasy, and it's not a supplement ad. It's a quiet secret from nature that science has finally begun to understand. One simple nut, taken at the right time, can reactivate the very systems that age has slowed down: your blood flow, your hormones, and your sleep. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men rebuild their strength, vitality, and confidence naturally. I've spent decades studying what happens inside a man's body as testosterone declines, circulation weakens, and energy fades. And I've also witnessed how the right foods, used wisely, can bring that fire back. Here's the paradox most men never realize. Your erection, your energy, and your deep sleep are not separate problems. They're one system. Fix one, and the others begin to heal. And this single nut has the rare ability to nourish all three at once. By the end of this video, you'll understand how one small, doctor-approved bedtime habit can restore your potency, vigor, and deep, healing sleep without pills or side effects. Stay with me, because in just a few moments, I'll reveal exactly which nut it is, why it works so powerfully, and how men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80-50s are using it to feel alive again. Before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss another doctor-backed tip designed to help men over 60 stay strong, energized, and confident. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 and tell me what you'd like to learn more about in future videos. Now, let's dive into the truth every man over 60 needs to hear. Before we talk about the nut itself, you must first understand what's quietly happening inside your body, the gradual decline that steals your strength, energy, and drive without you even realizing it. 1. The silent decline after 60. Every man over 60 feels it, though most can't quite explain it. You wake up one morning and realize that something inside you isn't the same. The spark that once made you feel powerful, alert, and alive seems dimmer. Maybe you don't rise as easily in the morning, neither your energy nor your erections. You go to bed earlier, yet sleep feels lighter, interrupted. You tell yourself it's just part of aging. But as a doctor who has worked with thousands of men, I can tell you it's not just age. It's a silent, biological shift that begins deep within your body long before you notice it. Your blood vessels, once flexible and open, start to stiffen. The smooth flow of oxygen-rich blood to your heart, brain, and yes, to your penis, begins to slow. Without that rich flow, tissues starve. They weaken, lose sensitivity, and repair themselves more slowly. Your heart works harder to push blood through narrower pipes. Your brain doesn't get the same oxygen it used to. And the result is that dull fatigue you can't quite shake, the fading of that inner vitality that once defined you as a man. At the same time, testosterone, the hormone that fuels your confidence, focus, and desire, quietly drops. It happens little by little, about 1% a year after your 40s, but after 60, the decline accelerates. You don't just lose muscle, you lose drive. Your body burns energy slower. Your recovery after a long day takes longer. You feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the way you look at yourself in the mirror. Then comes sleep, or rather, the lack of it. What used to be deep, restorative rest turns into restless tossing. You wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes to use the bathroom, sometimes for no reason at all. And the next morning, instead of feeling renewed, you feel drained before the day even begins. But here's the good news. Nature has already placed the tools for repair right in front of you. You just have to know where to look. Because there's one natural food, a simple nightly ritual, that quietly targets all three causes of this decline: blood flow, testosterone, and sleep at once. And it starts with something as small as a single nut. 2. The one nut nature designed for men. For years, I've had men sit across from me, frustrated, exhausted, and searching for answers. They'd tried everything: pills, powders, expensive supplements, And yet nothing seemed to last. Their energy would spike for a day or two, then fade again. I used to think the same way early in my career, that vitality came from complex treatments or cutting-edge medicine, but sometimes the most powerful solutions come from the simplest places. And in this case, that solution is found in a small, unassuming nut, the pistachio. Yes, the same pistachio you might snack on while watching TV or find sprinkled over desserts. But what most men don't realize is that this little nut carries a unique combination of nutrients perfectly designed to restore male vitality. Inside every pistachio is a natural pharmacy, packed with arginine, a compound that your body uses to produce nitric oxide. This molecule is crucial. It relaxes and opens blood vessels, improving circulation throughout the body, especially to the areas that matter most to a man's confidence. When blood flows freely again, oxygen and nutrients reach your muscles, your heart, and yes, your penis, just as they did when you were younger. Alongside that, pistachios are rich in healthy fats that support the heart and protect your arteries from damage. They also contain magnesium and vitamin B6, two nutrients essential for testosterone production and hormone balance. And perhaps most remarkably, pistachios are one of the only foods naturally rich in melatonin, the sleep hormone that helps you drift off easily and stay in deep, healing rest. So in one handful of pistachios, you're addressing three of the biggest struggles men face after 60: blood flow, testosterone, and sleep. That's not coincidence. That's nature's design. When I first started recommending this simple habit to my patients, the results were astonishing. Men who hadn't slept soundly in years began waking up refreshed. Their energy returned. Their confidence grew. And for many, their intimacy followed. It's hard to believe something so small could make such a difference. But once you understand the science of how this nut works inside your body, you'll never look at it the same way again. Because what happens next inside your bloodstream is nothing short of remarkable. 3. How it works. The science behind the nut. When I explain to my patients how this tiny nut works inside their body, they often look at me with disbelief. "Doc," they say, "how can something so small do all that?" But once you understand the science, it makes perfect sense. You see, your body is a living network of arteries, veins, and tiny blood vessels, all controlled by one crucial molecule, nitric oxide. It's the same molecule that drugs like Viagra try to mimic. The difference is, pistachios help your body produce it naturally, safely, and continuously. Here's what happens when you eat a few pistachios about 30 minutes before bed. The amino acid arginine inside them gets converted into nitric oxide. That nitric oxide signals your blood vessels to relax, widen, and open up, allowing blood to flow more freely. As circulation improves, oxygen travels effortlessly to your heart, your muscles, and yes, to your most intimate areas. That gentle, steady flow of blood is what allows you to have stronger, more reliable erections, not forced or artificial, but natural and lasting. At the same time, this improved blood flow carries nutrients and hormones more efficiently through your body. Your brain feels calmer, your heart works less hard, and your entire system begins to sink back into its natural rhythm. Then, as night falls, another miracle ingredient takes over: melatonin. Pistachios contain some of the highest natural levels of this sleep hormone found in any food. It helps your nervous system unwind and signals your brain that it's time to rest. You fall asleep faster, your muscles recover, and your testosterone production quietly rises in the background while you dream. By morning, your body has repaired, your hormones have reset, and your energy feels renewed. You didn't force your body, you nourished it. That's the difference between temporary stimulation and genuine restoration. And yet, as powerful as nature is, there's one question every man still asks me after hearing this. If it's so simple, why don't doctors just prescribe it? The answer might surprise you, and it's exactly what we'll uncover next. 4. Why pills fail, but nature doesn't. Over the years, I've seen countless men walk into my office clutching bottles of pills, each one promising to restore their manhood overnight. Their faces are hopeful, but behind that hope, I see exhaustion. They've spent hundreds, sometimes thousands, chasing results that never last. The truth is, those pills were never meant to heal you. They were meant to manage you. They give you a temporary spark, an artificial rise in blood flow, but the moment they wear off, your body is left even weaker than before. You see, synthetic pills force your blood vessels open without teaching your body how to do it naturally. It's like pushing the gas pedal to the floor when your engine is already worn out. It might move faster for a moment, but the strain only makes it worse over time. The lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, becomes less responsive. Your body stops producing nitric oxide efficiently, and soon you find yourself relying on the pill just to feel normal. That's not healing, that's dependency. Nature, however, works differently. When you nourish your body with foods like pistachios, you're not tricking your system, you're supporting it. The nutrients rebuild the very structure of your arteries, strengthen your heart, and restore the body's own nitric oxide production. Instead of forcing an erection, your body remembers how to create one on its own. That's the beauty of it. It's not quick, but it's real. You're not fighting your biology, you're aligning with it. And beyond the physical effects, something else happens. When men start feeling stronger naturally, their confidence shifts. They no longer see themselves as broken or dependent on medication. They see themselves as capable again. I've watched that transformation, men standing taller, smiling more, reconnecting with their partners. It's not just blood flow that returns, it's pride, passion, and peace of mind. But here's where it gets even more exciting. Once you understand that you can rebuild your own strength, you'll want to know exactly how to do it. The precise way to use this nightly habit to get the maximum benefit. Because the timing, the amount, and the way you take it can make all the difference. And that's exactly what I'll show you next. 5. The right way to eat it. Whenever I share this simple habit with my patients, the first thing they ask is, "Doc, how much should I take? And when?" It's a fair question, because just like medicine, timing and dosage matter. The goal isn't to snack mindlessly, it's to give your body exactly what it needs, at the time it needs it most. When you do it right, the results can be remarkable. Here's what I've seen work best, time and time again. About 30 to 45 minutes before bed, take a small handful of pistachios, 5 to 7 nuts. Not salted, not coated, just plain, natural pistachios. Chew them slowly, almost mindfully. Let your body recognize what it's receiving. These aren't just calories, they're fuel for circulation, hormone balance, and deep rest. If you tend to eat late dinners, try to finish your meal at least an hour earlier so your digestion doesn't interfere. After the pistachios, drink a small glass of warm water or milk to help the nutrients absorb smoothly. I always remind my patients, don't rush the process. This isn't a magic trick, it's a gentle recalibration. Over the first few nights, you may notice that you fall asleep faster. A week later, you might wake up feeling lighter, calmer, more rested. By the second week, morning energy often returns. And for many men, so does that sense of strength and confidence they thought was gone for good. These are small signs that your circulation, hormones, and nervous system are finally beginning to cooperate again. There's something special about ending your day this way. It's peaceful, grounding, and it gives you back a sense of control over your own body. I tell my patients that the bedtime ritual matters just as much as the nut itself. Turn off the screens, dim the lights, and let that quiet moment remind you you're still capable of healing no matter your age. But here's the part that truly surprises most men. The changes they begin to feel don't just happen in their bodies. They start deep inside, in a place far more powerful than blood flow or hormones. Because once your body begins to heal, something even greater starts to awaken. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. 6. The emotional renewal. There's something deeply moving about watching a man rediscover his strength. I've seen it happen countless times in my office. A man who once sat slouched, quiet, and ashamed suddenly walks in with his shoulders back, eyes brighter, and a spark I hadn't seen in years. It's not just because his body is working better, it's because his spirit is waking up again. When a man starts to feel like himself, truly himself, something changes far beyond the physical. One of my patients, George, comes to mind. He was 71 when he first came to see me. He said, "Doc, I don't feel like the man I used to be. I love my wife, but I've lost my drive, my energy, and my confidence." I told him what I tell so many men. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about restoring the rhythm your body once knew. George took the advice seriously. Every night, he followed the simple pistachio routine. He turned off his phone earlier, took his handful of nuts before bed, and let his body rest. A month later, he came back with a smile I'll never forget. "Doc," he said, "I feel alive again. My energy is back." My wife noticed before I even told her. Moments like that remind me why I do this work. Because as men age, the battle isn't only against fatigue or weak circulation, it's against the quiet loss of identity that sneaks in when your body stops cooperating. When you restore your vitality, you reclaim more than your erections. You reclaim your sense of purpose, confidence, and connection. You start walking differently. You start speaking differently. You start living again. And that's the beauty of this natural approach. It doesn't just fix one part of you, it revives all of you. The body, the mind, the heart, they begin to align again. That sense of pride you thought had faded, it returns, stronger than ever. But before you rush out to buy every kind of nut, there's something you need to understand. Not all nuts have the same healing power, and some can actually slow your progress. Let's talk about that next. 7. The doctor's warning. Before you run out and buy every type of nut you can find, let me share something I've learned after decades of studying men's health. Not all nuts are created equal. Many men assume that if pistachios are good for blood flow and testosterone, then peanuts, cashews, or mixed nuts must do the same. Unfortunately, that's not how the body works. In fact, some of these popular choices can do more harm than good when eaten regularly, especially for men over 60. Take peanuts, for example. They're technically not even nuts, they're legumes, and they're often roasted in oils that cause inflammation inside the arteries. That inflammation silently damages your blood vessels and blocks the same nitric oxide pathways you're trying to restore. Cashews, though delicious, are high in compounds that can spike blood sugar and interfere with hormone balance when consumed in large amounts. Even almonds and walnuts, while healthy in moderation, don't contain the same blend of arginine, melatonin, and micronutrients that make pistachios so unique. I remember one of my patients, Alan, who told me proudly he had been eating a handful of mixed nuts every night for years. "I thought I was doing something good, Doc," he said. But when we looked closely at his diet, I realized most of his mix came from salted peanuts and candied cashews. His cholesterol was rising, his energy was dipping, and his sleep was restless. After switching to just plain pistachios for a month, the difference was remarkable. His blood pressure dropped, his morning energy returned, and he said his wife had noticed a change in his confidence. That's why I always remind men, nature offers thousands of foods, but only a few truly align with your body's needs at this stage of life. Pistachios are special because they nourish your system instead of stressing it. They don't just mask symptoms, they rebuild the foundation. Still, the magic doesn't stop with food alone. When you combine this nightly habit with one simple lifestyle adjustment, the results can be twice as powerful. And in the next section, I'll show you exactly what that secret combination is, and how it can transform your nights, your mornings, and your confidence. 8. Real stories from real men. Nothing brings me more satisfaction as a doctor than seeing real men experience real change. Over the years, I've watched hundreds of patients rediscover the strength they thought was gone forever, not through pills or procedures, but through small, consistent habits that honor the body's natural rhythm. One story that stays with me is from a man named Richard. He was 68, soft-spoken, and visibly tired when he first sat across from me. "Doc," he said, "I've tried everything. Supplements, medications, even special diets, but I still wake up drained, and intimacy feels like a memory." I could see the frustration in his eyes, the quiet resignation that so many men carry when they feel their vitality slipping away. I told Richard what I'm telling you now. Your body isn't broken. It's waiting to be reminded how to work again. I gave him the simple pistachio routine, explained why timing mattered, and asked him to stay patient for at least a few weeks. 3 weeks later, he returned with a completely different energy. His shoulders were back, his skin looked brighter, and he smiled as he said, "Doc, my wife told me I'm snoring less, I'm waking up rested, and I feel alive again." That's when I knew the change had reached deeper than just physical. It was emotional. It was the kind of transformation that reignites hope. Another man, Thomas, 73, had almost given up on intimacy. He said he just wanted to sleep better when he started the pistachio habit, but what happened next surprised him. His sleep improved, yes, but so did his drive, his focus, and his mood. "I feel like my body's finally cooperating with me again," he told me. That's the power of nature when you work with it instead of against it. These men didn't find miracles, they found balance. And once your body starts healing from the inside out, you realize there's one more key factor that ties it all together: deep, restorative sleep. Because without it, none of these changes can truly last, and that's exactly what we'll uncover next. 9. Why sleep is the real secret weapon. Most men underestimate just how powerful sleep truly is. They think of it as rest, as a pause, when in reality, it's the most active period of healing the body has. I've seen men spend years chasing better performance, taking supplements, joining gyms, trying new diets, yet all the while ignoring the one thing that controls everything else: the quality of their sleep. You see, deep sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's when your body repairs arteries, rebuilds testosterone, and restores the chemical balance that fuels energy, mood, and desire. Without it, nothing else can function as it should. I've told many of my patients that the reason they wake up tired, anxious, or uninterested in intimacy isn't because of age. It's because their sleep has lost its depth. When your sleep becomes shallow, your stress hormones stay elevated through the night. Cortisol, the hormone that keeps you alert, never fully switches off. And when cortisol is high, testosterone stays low. It's a tug of war happening inside your body, every single night. Pistachios, however, hold a key advantage here. They naturally contain melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain it's time to rest, and magnesium, which calms the nervous system. Together, they gently ease your body into a deep, uninterrupted sleep cycle. I remember one patient, Henry, who hadn't slept through the night in nearly a decade. He was skeptical at first, but agreed to try the pistachio routine. 2 weeks later, he called me and said, "Doc, I slept 7 hours straight for the first time in years. I woke up calm. No restlessness, no fatigue, just peace." That kind of recovery does more than clear your mind. It recharges your hormones, strengthens your heart, and restores the spark that aging tends to dim. Sleep is the foundation upon which vitality is built. Without it, energy fades and healing stalls. But once you restore it, everything else, blood flow, stamina, and confidence, begins to rise naturally. And if you combine this newfound rest with one simple nighttime ritual, you'll unlock even greater transformation. Let me show you exactly how to do that next. 10. The complete bedtime routine. I've learned over the years that real transformation doesn't come from one big change. It comes from small, consistent habits done with purpose. Eating pistachios before bed is powerful, yes, but when you combine that with a few simple steps, the results can be extraordinary. I often tell my patients that nighttime is your body's most sacred time for healing. What you do in that final hour before sleep determines how deeply you rest, how strongly you recover, and how powerfully your body performs the next day. Start by disconnecting from screens at least an hour before bed. The blue light from phones and TVs tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, blocking the melatonin your body desperately needs to fall asleep. Then, take a warm shower. It's not just about hygiene, it's about relaxation. The warmth opens up blood vessels, improves circulation, and signals your nervous system that it's safe to slow down. Afterward, sit quietly and enjoy your small handful of pistachios. Don't rush it. Chew slowly, breathe deeply, and let that moment feel like a reward for everything your body carried today. Wash them down with a small glass of warm water or milk to help digestion and hydration. If you can, spend 3 minutes on deep breathing before lying down. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for a moment, then exhale gently through your mouth. This simple act lowers your blood pressure, calms your mind, and enhances oxygen delivery, exactly what your body needs to prepare for deep, restorative sleep. Men who follow this nightly ritual often tell me that something begins to shift. Their nights feel calmer, their mornings brighter, and their confidence returns, not as a sudden burst, but as a steady, natural rhythm. They begin to feel like themselves again, in body and spirit. This bedtime routine isn't just a set of steps, it's an act of self-respect. It's you saying, "I'm worth taking care of." And once you've given your body this care for a few weeks, you'll start noticing changes that no pill could ever deliver. But what exactly should you expect to feel, and when? That's where most men get truly surprised, and it's what we'll uncover next. 11. What to expect in 2 to 4 weeks. Whenever I introduce a new habit to my patients, they always ask, "Doc, when will I start to notice a difference?" It's a fair question, because after years of disappointment from quick fixes and false promises, most men want to know that their effort will pay off. The truth is, nature doesn't rush. It rebuilds quietly, steadily, and deeply. But once it starts, the change is undeniable. Within just a few days of beginning the pistachio routine, many men notice that they fall asleep faster. The nights feel longer, calmer, and more refreshing. That's the first sign that your hormones are beginning to synchronize again. By the end of the first week, that heavy morning fatigue begins to fade. You wake up feeling lighter, clearer, and surprisingly optimistic. Around week 2, energy starts to stabilize. Instead of sudden highs and lows, your body begins to hold a steady rhythm, your metabolism evens out, your mood improves, and you find yourself moving through the day with less effort. Some men tell me their minds feel sharper, their focus returns, and even their appetite changes in a healthier direction. Then something remarkable happens around week 3. Your circulation catches up to the rest of your progress. You start waking up with stronger, more consistent morning erections, your body's natural sign that blood flow, hormones, and rest are finally working in harmony. For many men, this is more than a physical change. It's emotional. It's the moment they realize that age isn't the problem. It's neglect that was holding them back. By week 4, the transformation feels complete. Your sleep is deeper, your energy lasts all day, and you carry yourself differently. You don't need stimulants or pills. You've reclaimed your body's natural rhythm. It's not about feeling young again, it's about feeling whole again. I've watched this pattern repeat with man after man, and it never stops inspiring me. But as incredible as these physical improvements are, there's an even more important shift that follows, something that happens inside the heart, not the body. And once that changes, everything else in life starts to fall back into place. Let's talk about that next. 12. A message from the heart. Every time I sit across from an older man struggling with fatigue, frustration, or a fading sense of self, I see more than his lab results. I see a man who's carried the weight of family, work, and responsibility for decades, and who, somewhere along the way, forgot to care for himself. I see the quiet pride in his eyes, mixed with the pain of feeling like he's losing control over his own body. And I always tell him the same thing: it's never too late to heal. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's just waiting for you to give it what it needs. When I first began studying men's health, I believed solutions had to be complicated. I thought that real change came from advanced medicine or high-tech treatments, but years of experience have taught me something far simpler and far more powerful. Nature always gives us what we need if we're willing to listen. Watching my patients come back after weeks of simple, natural changes, like a handful of pistachios before bed, reminds me how resilient the human body truly is. The light that returns to their faces, the laughter that returns to their homes, the confidence that returns to their walk. Those are the moments that remind me why I chose this profession. When you begin to take care of your body in this gentle, respectful, you're not just improving your health, you're reclaiming your dignity. You start waking up with purpose again. You start looking at your reflection with pride instead of disappointment. You begin to realize that age doesn't define strength, discipline does. I've seen men in their 70s and 80s completely transform their vitality through small, consistent acts of self-care. So if you're watching this and thinking it's too late for you, let me assure you, it's not. Your heart, your mind, and your body still have so much life left in them. You just need to feed that life the right way, one night at a time. Because once you do, something truly beautiful happens. Your body thanks you. And the feeling of that transformation, the freedom, the confidence, the calm, is something I want every man to experience. Now, before we finish, let me leave you with one final thought that ties all of this together. 13. Final takeaway. If there's one thing I want you to remember from everything we've talked about, it's this. Your body is not broken, and your best years are not behind you. Every man reaches a point in life where he begins to feel the quiet pull of time, the slower mornings, the restless nights, the loss of strength he once took for granted. But what I've learned after decades of working with men is that aging doesn't have to mean surrendering your vitality. Your body still remembers how to thrive. It just needs the right care, the right rhythm, and a little patience to find its way back. That's why this simple habit matters so much. One small handful of pistachios before bed isn't just about better blood flow or stronger erections, it's about balance. It's about reconnecting with the natural cycles that once powered your strength and passion. When you give your body what it truly needs, nutrients that repair your arteries, minerals that calm your nerves, and the rest it's been missing, you're not chasing youth, you're rebuilding your foundation. And once that foundation is restored, everything else, your energy, your confidence, your connection, follows naturally. I've seen it again and again. Men who thought they were past their prime rediscovering what it feels like to wake up refreshed, to stand tall, to feel proud of their bodies again. They come back to tell me their marriages feel renewed, their focus has sharpened, and their sense of joy has returned. And every time, I smile, because I know it all began with one simple choice, to take care of themselves again. So tonight, when you reach for that handful of pistachios, know that you're doing something far more important than just eating a snack. You're making a quiet promise to yourself, to live fully, to love deeply, and to honor the life you still have ahead. You're proving that real strength isn't about being young, it's about refusing to give up on yourself. Because the truth is, no matter your age, you still have the power to restore your body, your energy, and your manhood, one night, one breath, and one nut at a time. If this message spoke to you, if it reminded you that strength, vitality, and confidence don't fade with age, then I ask you to take one simple step to keep this mission alive. Click that like button right now so more men over 60 can find this message and realize they're not alone. Share this video with a friend, a brother, or anyone who needs a reminder that it's never too late to take back control of their health and manhood. I also want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments how you've been sleeping, what changes you've noticed, or even what you're still struggling with. Your story could inspire another man to start his own journey tonight. And if you'd like to support this channel and help me continue creating honest, doctor-backed advice for men's health, consider making a small donation. Every dollar goes toward research, production, and reaching more men who deserve the truth about their bodies. So don't just watch. Be part of this movement. Like, share, comment, and if you can, donate. Together, we can help every man rediscover his strength, one night and one healthy habit at a time.